Ladies and gentlemen, you ever been in a season where everything hurt? I'm talking about the kind of pain that doesn't just live in your body, it lives in your mind. The kind that wakes you up at 2 a.m. whispering, "You're not enough." See, we don't talk about this enough, that pain can either bury you or build you. I've learned that God doesn't waste any pain. Every tear you've cried, every door that slammed in your face, every betrayal you thought would break you, it's all part of a bigger purpose. Somebody needs to hear this today. Your pain is not proof that you're weak, it's proof that there's something powerful growing inside you. Because purpose doesn't come from comfort. It's forged in pain. So today, I want to talk to you about how to turn that pain into purpose, how to take what tried to destroy you and let it develop you. Pain is not punishment, it's preparation. We've been taught to see pain as proof that something's wrong, that maybe we've fallen out of favor, that maybe God's forgotten about us. But what if pain isn't evidence of abandonment, but evidence of alignment? What if what you're walking through isn't meant to crush you, but to condition you? See, when you lift weights, it's not comfort that builds your strength, it's resistance. The pressure on your muscles is what makes them grow. And in the same way, the pressure on your spirit is what makes your faith expand. Pain is God's gym, and every trial is a training session for what's coming next. Some of the greatest lessons you'll ever learn are written in the language of struggle. We don't grow in the sunshine, we grow in the storm. The valley is where the roots go deep. It's where character gets tested and calling gets clarified. You can't develop endurance without a reason to endure. You can't learn patience without having to wait. You can't discover strength until something pushes against you. Pain doesn't mean you're being punished. It means you're being prepared for a greater purpose than you can see right now. Look at the pattern of every person who did something powerful with their life. Joseph was betrayed before he was promoted. David was hunted before he was crowned. Even Jesus carried a cross before he wore a crown. The preparation always comes before the purpose. The process always comes before the promise. So if you're in a season of pain, maybe it's not the enemy attacking you. Maybe it's God equipping you. Maybe he's allowing something to be stripped away so he can strengthen what's within. We love to pray for promotion, but we forget that preparation often comes disguised as pain. We say, "God, use me," but we don't realize that being used by God sometimes means being broken first, because what's untested can't be trusted. God won't send you into a battle you're not trained to fight. That heartbreak, that disappointment, that delay, it's not random. It's refining you. It's producing something in you that success never could. And here's the thing, preparation doesn't always feel holy. It doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it feels like you're moving backward, when in reality God is positioning you for something bigger. He's not punishing you. He's preparing you to carry the weight of what you prayed for. Because if he gave it to you too soon, it would crush you. But through the pain, he's teaching you how to handle what's coming next. So when life hurts, don't ask, "Why me?" Start asking, "What's this preparing me for?" Because the pain that feels unbearable today might be the very thing that equips you to stand unshaken tomorrow. Pain is not the enemy. It's evidence that God's not done. It's the sign that he's still working, still shaping, still preparing you for the purpose he placed inside you from the beginning. Your greatest ministry often comes from your deepest misery. We love to share our victories, our highlight reels, our polished moments. But what truly connects with people isn't our perfection. It's our pain. The truth is, the very thing you thought would disqualify you is often what God uses to qualify you. The wounds you carry can become the windows through which others see hope. The cracks in your heart are not flaws to be hidden. They are openings for his light to shine through. It's in the moments you thought you couldn't make it that God was actually shaping a message that could help someone else make it. We all want to minister out of our strengths, but God often uses our scars more than our successes. Because when you tell someone, "I've been there," that hits different. When you say, "I know what it's like to feel forgotten. I know what it's like to cry yourself to sleep. I know what it's like to be broken and still show up. That carries power. It's not theory, it's testimony. People don't need perfect, they need real. And nothing is more real than pain that's been transformed into purpose. Think about it. The pain you thought would destroy you actually gave you a language for compassion. The disappointment you thought would harden your heart actually made it softer toward others. The struggle you barely survived became the story that helps someone else survive theirs. That's the beauty of God's redemption. He never wastes what you've been through. Every scar tells a story, and every story has the power to set someone else free. Sometimes the misery you're in is the ministry you're being prepared for. Maybe you went through that season of loss so you could understand how to comfort others who are grieving. Maybe you faced rejection so you could teach others how to find acceptance in God's love. Maybe you battled anxiety so you could lead someone else toward peace. Nothing you've been through is pointless. God doesn't just deliver you from pain. He delivers purpose through pain. It's easy to think ministry happens on platforms, behind microphones, or on stages. But some of the most powerful ministry happens in quiet conversations, over coffee, in the hallway, in a text that says, "Hey, I've been where you are, and you're going to make it." That's ministry. That's how God turns misery into mission, by using your pain as a bridge for someone else's breakthrough. You might still be in the middle of your misery, wondering why you had to walk through what you did. But one day, you'll look back and realize that the same place where you were wounded became the place where you found your weapon. The same situation that made you cry became the one that made you care. The same misery that made you question God became the ministry that revealed His faithfulness. What once felt like the end was just the beginning of something beautiful that could only be born through brokenness. What broke you yesterday can build you today. We spend so much time trying to run from the things that hurt us, not realizing those very things are the tools God uses to shape us. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the disappointment, the failure, none of it was wasted. What felt like the end of your story was actually the beginning of your strength. Because what broke you yesterday is the same thing God will use to build you into who you're meant to be today. The pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to develop you. Every shattered piece of your past is raw material in the hands of a God who specializes in rebuilding. When something breaks, our instinct is to throw it away. But God doesn't throw away broken things. He rebuilds them with purpose. He takes what others see as useless and says, "Watch what I can do with this." The cracks in your heart, the moments that made you question your worth, the tears you thought were wasted, all of it is being used to construct something stronger. You are not the same person you were before you broke. You're wiser, softer, deeper. You know things now that you couldn't have learned any other way. The pain that once crushed you has now become the foundation of your resilience. Think about a seed. Before it can grow, it has to be buried and broken open. The breaking is not the end, it's the beginning of life taking root. The same is true for you. You had to be broken so what was inside you could come out. You had to lose something to discover something greater within yourself. God didn't let you break so you'd give up. He allowed you to break so you'd grow up, so you'd learn how to stand on faith when everything else fell apart. What broke you yesterday wasn't meant to leave you in pieces. It was meant to reveal the strength you never knew you had. When you look back at the pain, it's easy to see only what it took from you. But if you look closer, you'll start to see what it gave you. It gave you perspective. It gave you empathy. It gave you endurance. The very thing that tried to bury you ended up planting you. The fire that was meant to consume you refined you. The storm that was meant to drown you taught you how to swim. You're not weak because you were broken. You're strong because you didn't stay broken. So don't despise what broke you. Don't curse the pain that produced your growth. The struggle wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The wound wasn't wasted, it was wisdom in disguise. You may not have chosen what broke you, but you get to choose what it builds in you. And when you rise from the wreckage, carrying lessons carved by pain and strength forged through struggle, you'll realize that the thing that broke you yesterday became the very thing that built the unshakable you standing here today. Don't curse the season that's shaping your strength. We all go through times when life feels heavy, confusing, unfair. Seasons where prayers seem unanswered, doors stay closed, and every step forward feels like a battle. In those moments, it's tempting to get bitter, to ask, why is this happening to me? But what if the very season you're resenting is the one God is using to refine you? What if what feels like delay is actually development? The hardest seasons often produce the strongest versions of us. You can't see it while you're in it, but one day you'll look back and realize that the season you wanted to escape was the one that equipped you for everything that came after it. When a tree grows, its roots don't dig deep when the weather's perfect. They dig deep when the wind is strongest. The pressure of the storm drives the roots down into the soil, anchoring the tree so it can withstand whatever comes next. The same is true for you. The winds that are blowing against your life right now aren't there to uproot you. They're there to root you deeper. God is using resistance to build resilience. You can't develop spiritual muscle in seasons of comfort. Strength is always forged in struggle, and the moments that feel like they're breaking you are often the ones building something unshakable within you. It's easy to praise God in the harvest, but real faith is formed in the drought. Anybody can celebrate when things are going right, but it takes a different kind of faith to trust when nothing makes sense. That's the faith that grows in the middle of the storm. Sometimes God doesn't change the situation because He's trying to change you in it. He's shaping your patience, refining your character, teaching you endurance. You may not like the process, but you'll need what it produces. The season that's stretching you is the same one that's strengthening you. So don't curse it, don't despise it, don't try to rush your way through it. Growth takes time, and every season has a purpose. The winter might feel cold and lifeless, but beneath the surface, roots are growing deep. The pruning might hurt, but it's preparing you for new fruit. God doesn't waste seasons. He uses each one to shape something in you that the next season will require. If you skip the shaping, you'll miss the strength. One day, when you step into what you've been praying for, you'll understand why this season had to be so hard. You'll see that every tear watered your growth, every trial toughened your faith, every disappointment developed your discernment. The strength you're carrying tomorrow is being shaped by the struggle you're facing today. So instead of cursing the season, start thanking God for it, because the same pressure that's testing you is the proof that something powerful is being born within you. Purpose begins where your comfort zone ends. We love comfort. We crave stability, predictability, and control, but comfort never calls us higher. Growth doesn't happen where it's easy. It happens where it's uncertain. Every time you step beyond what feels safe, you discover something new about who you are and what you're capable of. Purpose is rarely found in familiar places. It's revealed in moments that stretch you. The truth is, God will often disrupt your comfort to awaken your calling. He'll push you out of the boat so you can learn how to walk on water, because you'll never know what you can do until you're willing to go where you've never been. The comfort zone feels good, but it's also a cage. It keeps you from experiencing the fullness of your potential. It whispers, "Stay here, it's safe," while your purpose is shouting, "Go there, it's waiting." Every great story begins when someone decides to step into discomfort. Moses had to face Pharaoh. David had to face Goliath. Peter had to step out into the storm. None of them discovered their purpose by staying where it was easy. They found it by walking into what was unknown. Discomfort is not a sign that you're in the wrong place. It's often a sign that you're right on the edge of destiny. When you step out of your comfort zone, you're not just changing your surroundings, you're changing yourself. You start to build courage you didn't know you had. You start to develop faith that doesn't depend on feelings. You start to see that purpose isn't about perfection, it's about progress, and progress only comes through pressure. If everything in your life feels comfortable, it's a warning sign that you might have stopped growing. God loves you too much to let you stay small, so He'll stir your spirit, close certain doors, shake up what's stable, because He knows your purpose can't thrive in comfort. Sometimes the discomfort isn't even external, it's internal. It's the tension between who you are and who you're called to be. It's that restlessness in your soul that tells you there's more. That's not frustration, that's divine agitation. That's God nudging you out of complacency and into calling. And the moment you stop fighting that feeling and start following it, your purpose begins to unfold. It won't be easy. You'll doubt yourself. You'll want to turn back. You'll wonder if stepping out was a mistake. But that's exactly where faith is formed, right in the middle of fear. The unknown isn't your enemy, it's your invitation. Every uncomfortable step you take in obedience positions you for greater influence, deeper wisdom, and stronger faith. So don't run from the stretch. Don't resist the season that's pushing you. Because purpose doesn't live in the comfort zone. It lives in the challenge, in the risk, in the leap of faith that says, even if I don't know what's ahead, I trust the one who called me beyond what's familiar. God never wastes pain. He repurposes it for His plan. Nothing you've gone through is random. Every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment, every lonely night, God saw it, and He's weaving it into something greater. You might not understand it right now, but the very thing that broke you is being rewritten into a story of redemption. God is a master at turning messes into messages and pain into purpose. What feels like a setback is often the setup for what He's preparing you to step into. It's easy to think pain means God has forgotten you, but sometimes pain is the sign that He's preparing you for something too great to carry in your current form. When a potter shapes clay, he has to press, stretch, and spin it before it ever becomes a vessel. The process doesn't look pretty, but every push is intentional. Every spin serves a purpose. If the clay could speak, it would probably cry out in confusion, wondering why it's being pressed so hard. But the potter knows exactly what he's doing. The same is true for your life. You might be on the wheel right now, feeling like everything's spinning out of control, but in reality, you're in the hands of the Master. He's not wasting your pain. He's using it to mold you into something stronger, something more capable of carrying the purpose He designed for you. Sometimes the greatest gifts come disguised as grief. What looked like loss became the lesson that changed your life. What felt like rejection turned out to be direction. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the dream that fell apart. They weren't detours, they were divine redirection. Pain is often God's way of steering you toward the path you were always meant to take. And when you finally arrive at the destination, you'll realize that every tear had a purpose, every trial taught you something, and every wound became wisdom. It's not that God causes all the pain, but He promises to use all of it. Romans 8:28 says that He works all things together for good, not just the good things, but all things. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the delay, the disappointment, He gathers every fragment and forms it into something beautiful. You may have thought the pain disqualified you, but God says it developed you. You thought it was the end, but He says it's the beginning of something new. The greatest stories of transformation come from people who let God repurpose their pain. The addict who now helps others find freedom. The person who survived depression and now gives others hope. The one who faced loss and now walks with those who grieve. That's what God does. He takes what was meant to break you and turns it into a blessing for others. Your pain was not pointless. It was the preparation for your purpose. And when you trust Him with the broken pieces, He doesn't just fix them. He forms them into something that carries power, beauty, and meaning beyond anything you could have imagined.